to another edition of Koffee and Kramer, the podcast. I'm Joey Kramer.
And I'm Jennifer Koffee. And we are
Koffee and Kramer.
How's things going tonight?
It's been very slow this week. Although we did have excitement on our street tonight.
We always have excitement.
Right before we decided.
But you have to say, we live in a little tiny street in a little small town. There's, 10 houses on our street?
There's more than 10 houses. There's 1, 2, 3, Lucy. And the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably
12 houses on our street. That's about it.
There's about 7 houses on each side. 6 houses. So 12 houses. We'll say 12 houses on the street. Fine.
Little
we'll deal
tiny
with that.
street. We have more action on our street than any big city, I think.
Only because you guys make a lot of action on the street.
I don't think we do. I think just things happen.
No, it's very. Something's been going. Something. I want to say catfish comes to mind when I talk about this tonight, but I don't know if the guy was that much of a loser.
Do we have to explain what catfish is to people?
Well, MTV catfish, when people go online and they meet somebody and it's not who they think they are.
Correct.
You know, they think they're talking to this hot girl and it ends up somebody who looks like Jennifer Koffee.
Or it's a guy.
Did you catch what I said?
I heard what you said.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Or it's a guy.
Or it's a guy. Either way. But, so tonight we're going for our nightly walk and we come back and our neighbor next to us, Terry, goes out there and she's banging on Carol across the street.
No, she's banging on her door.
She's banging on Carol across the street's door. Does this sound right?
Yeah.
You sound
fine.
Still trying to figure out my new Roadcaster 2, by the way.
That's a whole nother story we'll talk about.
Anyway, she's banging, so we go over there and say, why are you banging Carol? Are you banging on Carol's door? And
did you get the words right?
She says, well, there's this guy out there, and he was like parked in a Jeep outside here, and he was on your porch, and he was looking in your window, and it didn't seem right.
Now, mind you, 2 hours prior, we saw the same car sitting out there and questioned why this car just was sitting outside the house for a half hour.
I just assumed it was one of our daughter's friends, and it didn't even make any. I didn't think anything of it.
Think much of it. Correct.
I really didn't. But
2 hours later, the car was still sitting outside.
The car is still sitting outside.
Moved his parking spot.
And
changed parking spots 3 times.
So while we're out there, he actually comes back, and he gets out of the truck, out of his Jeep. And, of course, Koffee will go over there and help her. So now I walk across the street.
Well, we weren't going to leave poor Carol over there by herself.
Anybody who kidnaps Carol will bring her back within 15 minutes.
Now, you just couldn't leave her by herself.
I'm just saying.
She needed somebody, and you were the only man around.
Thank you.
You should feel honored that I would think so highly of you.
Now, somehow you're sounding like you're nice, but that's something that's a dig underneath there.
There was no dig.
Anyway, I go over. This guy gets out of the car, and he says, I'm looking for Tara. Now, we've lived here for 25 years. She's lived here longer. And I said, dude, there's no Tara on the street.
Somebody on Tinder had to be screwing with him.
He had a birthday gift card for Tara. And we said, there's no Tara. And he said, well, she must have moved. I said, no, you don't understand. There's never been a Tara in this house. There's never been a Tara. We have a Lucy, but we don't have a Tara.
No Tara.
So he was insistent, and he texted.
And what's the other one next door? I don't know what her name is.
Which one?
Our new neighbors.
Janet?
Yeah, Janet.
Yeah, Janet.
Yeah, we have a Janet and we have a Lucy.
I'm really not sure what her real name is, but I call her Janet.
Yeah, we call her Janet.
Anyway.
He has nicknames for everybody in our neighborhood.
I do. We got Hack Girl down the street.
Carol and Terry are the only ones that actually have a name.
We got Princess.
We do.
We got the old lady next door, Lucy, down the street. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. This guy is insistent there is a Tara in this house.
He wants to go in the house and look around.
And he texts her. We said, well, why don't you call her? Where he calls her, he gets no answer. And then he texts her and she says, well, you know what? Just take a picture and then come in the house. So this guy's taking a picture and he's all ready to walk into Carol across the street's house.
Carol across the street.
You don't mess with Carol across the street.
No, and mind you, she yelled at you an hour earlier, and you were mad at her.
She did yell at me. I had these brand new Koffee and Kramer podcast stickers that the
He wanted to
made.
stick him on our porch.
I was not going to stick him on her porch. I was just kidding. Oh my God. She's in a bad mood.
Samantha Faith Creative made him for us.
She just yells at me. So I told her, when I come down the street, you get on the other side.
And then she stuck her dog on you.
She sort of apologized, but I don't think it was real.
And then her dog peed on you.
So anyway, we called the cops. We called 911. Now they always tell you to, what's the phrase they use? Call, look, and
listen.
No, what was Chris talking about? The phrase they say if you see something to report
it. Yeah.
But there's a little report, like a little fancy
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Chris was saying report and call or something. There was like a little saying. Anyway, you're useless. Anyway, it was like 15 minutes till anybody. This car pulled away. It was sitting there while we were on the phone with 911. It then left, came back again, left again.
No, you didn't hear what I said to Chris. So I called 911 back again for a second time because still no one was here.
Right.
And I dialed 911 and I waited. It went for 10 rings and then it went to a recording.
Yeah, did you ever get voicemail on 911?
And I turned to Chris and I said, the number is 911, correct?
What other number would you think it was?
Well, because they didn't answer.
So
and then when a recording picked up, I was like, this can't be 911.
So if you call 911, you might get voicemail and you leave a message and say, I'm dying of a heart attack here. If you could call me back at this number and let me know if you could save me.
The recording did say just hold on the line. But I mean, at that point, it was a while. Now, the cops were on another call. Again, we are in a small town. The cops were on another call. It's not that they weren't coming.
But
they were dealing with another situation.
Yeah, but the point is, you see somebody suspicious, they say to call, but it was good 15, 20 minutes. We could have all been dead.
Now, mind you, they did run his license plate because we got his license plate, and the guy was who he said he was. And again,
I'm just saying,
we think he was being catfished. The poor guy was being strung along by some girl.
Not only was he catfished, but he's going to be arrested and catfished on the same night.
So yes, so
if he wasn't so freaking
persistent,
adamant about going in the house, he could have said, "Oh, sorry, got the wrong number,"
and left.
But he came back twice,
three times
to see who was
that we saw. This is over like a 3-hour time period.
Needless to say, it delayed my recording. I have my first ever Zoom interview I'm going to do tomorrow with Howard Jones from the 1980s.
He's just getting on the bandwagon with Zoom.
I am not very happy about doing a Zoom, but Howard Jones is from England.
Most of us have been doing Zoom for 2 years.
I wanted, when I do an interview, I just want to do it over the phone and talk to them. I don't need to see them.
You don't have to look at them. You could turn your camera off.
I'm just saying. I don't like it.
You don't have to look at them.
I don't like all this Zoomy stuff.
It's on the radio. You don't have to look at them.
It doesn't matter. I don't like all this Zoomy stuff.
Well, you will be using Zoom because you're not spending $200 to call England again.
Okay, first of all, it's not $100. It's not $200 to call.
It's how much?
I don't know what it costs. It doesn't matter.
$150?
It's all about making me feel good and making money for this household to live on.
Do you really want to go there?
That's what it's all.
Do you want to have this discussion?
I'm just saying
because that's ridiculous.
That's what it's all about. It's about
no.
This is Howard Jones, by the way. If you're living a hole somewhere and you don't know who Howard Jones is, I'll just give you a little bit of a. Got feedback and everything. You can look at the menu, but you just can't eat. You can feel the cushions that you
How old is Howard Jones now?
Howard Jones, also Life in One Day. Things can only get better. You remember all that?
I remember all these songs. I just said, how old is he now?
How old is Howard Jones? Well, I'm glad you asked how old Howard Jones is. He has to be, I would think, in his 60s, but I thought Tone Loc.
Oh, that's where we were going.
I thought Tone Loc was in his 60s, and 67 is Howard Jones.
Okay. Does he still have new music out?
Yes, he actually is. He has a bunch of new. He has a new album coming out in.
Was he big in Britain? Usually that's the case.
Was big ever. He was just playing locally.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's had tons of albums, but he has Engage, Transform, and his new album's called Dialogue. It's like they all have something to do with the other. I'll ask him about it tomorrow.
Okay, I can't wait to hear.
I'll say, Howard, my wife wants to know if you're just big in Japan or something.
No, don't say that.
I'm just saying.
I enjoy his songs. That's why I wanted to know.
Which brings us to we didn't talk about. So anyway, by the way, whole ending that whole thing, everything was screwed up because of this catfish guy who ended up coming to.
As far as we know, has left now and has finally understood that there's no terror here. Thank God he didn't walk into our house. Our German Shepherd would not have liked that.
He would have. He definitely.
Our German Shepherd's getting old, but I don't think he'd like somebody entering our house.
We didn't talk about this last week, so. Because I think we recorded before we went or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. But we went to see the Phillies. Wasn't bad enough they lost. But then we get tortured with this.
Cool and at a ball. And I'm looking for some action. But like Mick Jagger said, I can't get no satisfaction. The girls are
oh, dear God. It was.
So they did an I Love the 90s concert after the show. After the game.
Go ahead, talk about it, because you enjoyed it far more than I enjoyed it.
Who was all there? It was
Tone Loc, of course.
Tone Loc.
And
Pump It Up,
it was Rob Bass.
Come on, here we go. Sunshine.
And Vanilla Ice.
I'm getting there.
Come on.
And DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Dance, crush the speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a
poisonous mushroom, deadly.
When I play a dope melody.
Yeah, but we were in so much pain by this point that we didn't stay for this song.
We didn't really stay for Vanilla Ice.
No, it was rough.
DJ Jazzy Jeff was also there, and what I could say about that is I'm a better beat mixer than DJ Jazzy Jeff is.
Yeah, you are. You're fantastic.
He wasn't like, I don't know. I mean, I know he's
and
older.
He wasn't even playing 90s songs.
I don't get it. Anyway, it was... After going like to the Motley Crue concert with Def Leppard, and you hear these guys sing, and the show they put on, these guys were on the stage, and Tone Loc was just singing, rapping
it was sad.
To a record, which it was, when I say record, it was vinyl. And it was just, the song he put on. And a lot of this, put your hands in the air, like you just don't care, and wave them around.
No, we had fun listening to the music.
I don't get it. And Rob Bass was the same way.
Our daughter and her boyfriend went with us,
wave
and we enjoyed the songs
like
and
you
music.
Just don't care. Woo!
It was sad.
It was an experience. It
dated them, although it shouldn't have, knowing what we've seen some other bands do.
And it has nothing to do with how old they are, because, like I said, the guys from Kiss are in their 70s. Well, not all of them, but two of them are in their 70s. Motley Crue, they're not young chickens. Neither is Def Leppard, so it has nothing to do with age.
Tone Loc looks like the guy that's on Big Brother now.
Tone Loc just looked like they found him on...
Terrence from Big Brother.
They found him working at the local Home Depot, and they said, hey, you want to go out on tour?
That's exactly what he looks like.
It does. That's exactly what it looked like.
It was rough. It really was.
So anyway, I got a busy night. Shadow Steel is going to be on the show this week. I wish I had his little vocal thing here, but I don't. He'll be on the show at 7 o'clock on... Saturday,
on the radio.
So I got to prepare for that. And we got Howard Jones, which I have. I'm going to be doing my Zoomie with him tomorrow.
It's not a Zoomie.
It's a Zoomie. I like the Zoomie. It's a Zoomie. You ready for the Zoomie?
It's not a Zoomie.
I'll be calling it a Zoomie. If I want to call it a Zoomie, I'll call it a Zoomie.
Okay. Zoom might get a little mad about that.
It could be a little bit of a Zoomie. Okay, go ahead. We're going to get to our second part, which you're really going to love coming up. So go ahead. You do this.
I'm a little nervous now.
You're going to love it.
Coffee and Kramer podcast is sponsored by Samantha Faith Creative.
Awesome.
Samantha Faith is a content creator who specializes in photography, illustrations, and social media. You can check out her content on Instagram, Facebook, and her website in our link in bio. Mention Coffee and Kramer podcast for a special 10% discount with Samantha Faith Creative today. Her Instagram is at SamanthaFaith.creative. Facebook is Samantha Faith Creative, and her website is SamanthaFaithPhoto.com. Check out all her latest stickers. She's been doing a lot of neat things with some new stickers.
We got Coffee and Kramer stickers.
Coffee cups.
When the sun's coming up, I got cakes on the griddle. Life ain't nothing but a funny, funny riddle. Thank God I'm a country boy.
This is only because I couldn't find a song that said cowgirl in it. So
I'm not having a discussion about cowgirls.
as you get older, and we're 27 years into our marriage,
You're
30,
really going to have this conversation?
I'm just saying, as you get older, we're 27 years into our marriage, and we're 34 years into being together. You know, your body isn't the same. Joints hurt, and sometimes when you're alone, you know, things that crack. And she's not very. If you didn't realize, you know what? I slept with Jennifer Koffee. Don't tell anybody.
I'm not having this discussion with you on air.
I'm just saying.
Not having this discussion
And
with
we're
you
not
on
even,
air.
we're not really married.
Yeah, we are.
It's just for show.
Nice try.
But I tell everybody to look up Cowgirl.
It's really not necessary. It's really not necessary.
It's definitely, and that's all because of Terry next door.
Yeah, Terry next door.
Or Chris, somebody said that. But as you get older, I got my AARP card.
He did in the mail today.
I know things are really getting old, and I refuse to join AARP. I will not join AARP.
Turns 50 this year.
I will not join AARP.
Eventually you will.
No, I will. I will not. I refuse.
Everybody says it, and everybody eventually does.
No,
so
I refuse.
You will.
I refuse to join AARP, and I also refuse to ever go to the grocery store on Senior Citizen Day when I'm going to get some type of discount.
Oh, you say that.
I'm just.
I'll get whatever discount I can get. Food is so stinking expensive these days. They're going to give me a senior citizen's discount. I'll take it.
All right, so I found this thing online.
Uh-oh.
It's 63 blissful marriage facts.
Oh, boy.
And this is, they're not really in any order, but the term marriage derives from the Latin word mas, meaning male or masculine. The earliest known use of the word in English dates from the 13th century. So
Okay.
obviously when you're talking about marriage, because the male is the dominant person in a marriage and makes all the decisions.
Is that so?
And controls everything like I do.
That so?
It really makes sense that it's derived from male.
Okay. As long as you believe that, you're good.
I'm in charge in this household.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the temperature in the house. Mm-hmm. You can't deny that.
I don't touch the thermostat because it makes you feel like you're in charge.
Due to jobs, kids, TV, the internet, hobbies, and home and family responsibilities, the average married couple spends just 4 minutes a day alone together.
I can honestly tell you that's not how our family is.
It wasn't until a couple of days ago when Tony came home. Then
we're together.
Yes, our 20-year-old
24/7.
came home to start college here. So there's a pie in the house. It has a bunch of slices. Usually I get most of the slices. Now I barely get a crumb.
Oh, please. For the last 3 months, we've been together 24/7.
I'm
It's
just
not
saying.
until I go back to work that we're not. You're ridiculous.
Over 75% of people who marry partners from an affair eventually divorce.
Partners from an affair. Okay.
A marriage ceremony typically ends with a kiss because in ancient Rome, a kiss was a legal bond that sealed contracts, and marriage was seen as a contract.
Well, it is a contract, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you seal it with a kiss.
Okay. Probably where that phrase came from.
What is this? Traditionally, bridesmaids would be dressed in a similar bride-like gowns to confuse rival suitors, evil spirits, and robbers. That's why a bridesmaid usually dresses differently than a bride. They're not supposed to. Why are you looking at me so confused?
Nothing.
Marrying younger than age 25 dramatically raises the divorce risk. Also, the divorce risk is higher when the woman is much older than the man, though the reverse isn't as strong a factor.
Gotcha. See, that's a good thing you're
older than me.
Who was going to use it first?
At Italian weddings, it is not
gosh.
unusual for both the bride and the groom to break a glass. The number of shards will be equal to the number of happy years the couple will have.
That's interesting. We did break the glass, but it wasn't because of the Italian side of our family.
Look, I'm getting a text from Carol across the street.
Uh-oh. Is he back?
No, this is Carol's tip of the week coming back to me. I forgot to tell you that the duct tape worked great taking the dog hair off my car seats and floor.
I got worried. I thought the guy came back.
I should text her back and say I'm still not talking to you.
Oh, don't do that. She'll be all upset.
The word wife. We did smash a glass, which we were talking about before,
Yes.
which I could not smash. I tried to step on it. I could not step
Nobody
on
explained to him beforehand that you have to use your heel,
it. So I just tried to step. I
not
nearly
the
broke
ball
my
of
foot.
your foot, and he tried to break it with the ball of his foot. I still do have that, if it matters to you. It has a lot of pieces. A lot more than 27 for that matter.
Is that why we're so blissfully...
I guess that's why. But as I was saying, we didn't do it from the Italian side. We did it from my side, not yours. So that's interesting that it's said from an Italian wedding.
The word wife is likely from the Proto-Indo-European root weep, to turn, twist, or wrap. Or gwib, which has a root meaning shame or pudenda, whatever that is.
I don't know. I cannot imagine that you're saying it right, but
Pudenda, P-U-D-E-N-D-A.
you give like an accent to things sometimes.
Pudenda.
See?
The word husband is from the Old Norse husbandi, or master of the house. There you go.
Master of the house.
Master of the house. Remember that, guys. Master of the house. Some scholars trace the word bride to the Proto-Indo-European root brew, to cook, brew, and make broth.
You're getting way too deep.
I'm just saying that this is a 2000. This is true. A 2008 study found that mutual satisfaction improves once children leave home. However, if marital problems existed before, an empty nest often reveals those otherwise masked issues.
Well, we're not having that issue.
Last thing. I love these facts. Last thing.
Okay, last one.
In 3 states, Arkansas, Utah, and Oklahoma, women tend to marry younger at an average age of 24. Men's average age is 26. In the northeastern states of New York, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, men and women wait about 4 years longer to marry. The U.S. average age for women is 25.6, and for men is 27.7.
So, and I have, I'm going to take you back a couple of years myself. This is taken from the 1950s home economics book. And these are the tips to look after your husband. Do you think they'd be the same as today's?
Are you doing any of them?
Let's see. So the first tip is always,
No, she's not doing that.
always have dinner ready for your man when he comes home.
You don't do that.
Plan ahead, even the night before, to make sure there's a delicious meal on time waiting for him when he walks through the door.
As there should be. When I came home today from when I was out cutting grass all day, there should have been a hot meal waiting for me.
Okay. Joey Kramer wanted dinner at 3 o'clock this afternoon and was wondering why food wasn't ready at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
I don't eat breakfast or
But
lunch.
that's not my fault. It was dinner. Dinner is not at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Because she goes off with the daughters and the father-in-law and goes to dinner and leaves me home to fend for myself.
No, there was dinner made for you.
That is exactly what happened. She
by
said,
4
I don't
o'clock.
know about you, but I'm going out. And you could just fend for whatever you have.
I never make you fend for yourself.
Go ahead.
Prepare yourself. Take 15 minutes to rest so you'll be refreshed when he arrives.
That's true.
Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work worry people. Be a little gay and a little more interesting. His boring day may need a lift.
What is that loud noise?
Probably the video games that the kids are playing downstairs.
It sounds like a dead cat. Anyway, you said about being fresh.
Prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself. And today I said to her, "When did you shave your legs?" I shaved them a few days ago. They're fine.
They're fine.
When my legs
They were
rub
shaved
up,
yesterday.
when I put my hand on her legs and I literally get cut,
I don't think that's the case.
I'm hairless. I'm completely hairless. She grows more hair in one day than I've seen in my entire life.
Number 3.
Is that true for all women? Are women normally hairy creatures?
Apparently.
Okay, sorry.
Number 3.
She's giving me a dirty look.
Clear away any clutter. Make one last trip through the house and make sure there's nothing cluttered. Toys, papers.
okay.
Dust a little over the tables. Your husband will feel like you reached a haven of rest and order, and he'll lift him up.
I'm pretty sure she's screwing with me because she likes to leave stuff all over the house. Like she'll use the Dawn and leave the Dawn out on the counter.
Again, this is from
I'm not done yet.
1950.
Yesterday, she got Sam brought home all this
Nail polish
from my mother. Well, it moved from the coffee table to the
Bathroom table?
to the picnic, not the picnic, but the snack bar. And then it moved. I go into the bathroom, and somehow it made it up to the bathroom and is sitting on the vanity in the bathroom. Now I moved it to the bedroom. I don't know what you did with it because it's gone.
It's gone. Number 4, prepare the children. Take a few minutes to wash the children's hands and faces, comb their hair, change their clothes. They are little treasures, and you would like to see them playing the part.
They are little treasures.
Yes.
And
1950, how life has changed.
I stayed home with the kids, and I always had them like little treasures when you walked in the door.
Yeah, okay.
Their hair was always done.
Okay.
There was very little fighting or screaming.
Okay, wait, we got a couple more. Minimize all noise. At the time of arrival, eliminate all noise of the washer, dryer, vacuum. Try to encourage the children to be quiet. Be happy to greet him with a warm smile.
Did you ever greet me with a warm smile?
Well, I come home to you, so you should be greeting me with a warm smile.
And what happens when you walk home, when you come in the door? Oh my God, I'm going to kill somebody. I got
Some don'ts. Don't greet him with
As
problems
I
or
say,
complaints.
she walks out, I say, honey, you look beautiful today.
Don't complain if he's late for dinner. Count this as a minor compared with what he has gone through all day.
Do you know one time I prepared Cornish hens?
Oh my God.
You
are ridiculous.
I was all day long. She went out with her friends for like a bridal thing or something, and they went to get their nails done or something. It wasn't anything big deal.
In the 27
but
years
anyway,
we've been married,
I'm gonna turn your volume down in 2 seconds. If
5 times.
I'm gonna turn her volume
5 times.
So
I think I've gone out with friends.
Now I went and I went out and I bought Cornish hens and I prepared them and I loved them and I rubbed them down with butter and garlic and herbs and I put them in the oven and they were perfect. I made some roasted potatoes on the side, a fresh vegetable. And she told me when she left, she said, I'll be home around 6 o'clock. I said, oh, great. And this was like at noon or 11:30 in the morning. This is a Saturday. And I said, whatever, great. And I started cooking. I had everything ready. This was before kids, I think, too.
No, I was pregnant. Well, maybe because I was pregnant with Sammy.
Yeah,
I think.
so I got everything ready. It was all piping hot by 6 o'clock.
No, Sammy was here. I was pregnant with Tony at the time.
Then I waited from 6 o'clock until I think she finally walked in the door.
We went out for pizza.
I think she finally walked in the door at about 9 o'clock. And my Cornish hens, by that time, I was afraid to eat because I was waiting for her. And she walked in to the table all set. The Cornish hens sitting there waiting for her.
Might I say that he has not cooked Cornish hens since?
I won't. Why
so
would
that's been about 25 years ago, and he has
and
not
I don't
cooked
even think you
Cornish
said
hens
you were
since
sorry
then.
that night.
You knew where I was.
3 hours late.
Well, I'm going to keep going. Make you comfortable when you come in the door. Listen to him. Make the evening all about him. And your final goal is to make the home a place of peace and order where you can renew yourself in body and in spirit.
Ha!
So these were tips in 1950. I guess you don't think that we do this today. Could you imagine if this was published in a newsletter today?
Well,
tips to keep your husband happy today?
Could you imagine? Because it would be, I'm woman. You can't do that to me.
Well, I work all day and you're home all day. So you're going to do all this for me when I come home?
But, as I said,
I don't think so.
If you have children, somebody should be staying home with the kids. So
you're right.
Whether it's the woman or the man, I stayed home with the kids.
You did.
One of you should be staying home, and whoever is staying home, the person who comes home, you should greet them and say, both of you had a hard day. Whoever's staying home had a hard day with the kids. Whoever went to work had a hard day.
Maybe that's why there was less divorce in the 1950s.
It probably was, because now they both go to work. They drop off the kids at daycare at 7 a.m. They see their kids at 6 o'clock at night, and somebody else raises. Do you really want to get me started?
No, I don't.
Do you really want to get me started?
I don't. I just thought you'd appreciate the 1950s tips. They should be in Dr. Laura's new book.
Well,
how to take care of your husband.
Well, she never says anything like that.
What's her book called? Proper Care and Feeding
of Husbands.
Of husbands, yes.
And
be in her book.
Her big thing is that you should be your husband's girlfriend. Something happens when you get married. When you're dating the girl, you're the girlfriend, you're impressing him, you're looking good. Then you get married, and all of a sudden, and you have kids, and the wife doesn't think they have to be your girlfriend anymore. And that's why a lot of marriages fail. And I'm not saying you.
Well, I wear glasses, and I was told that it would be nice if at least 2 days a week you put your contacts in. Did you not say that to me?
What?
Did you not say that to me this summer?
When you have makeup on and everything,
I don't work all summer. I'm home all summer.
I understand that. But
so I often have glasses and
how many
and a
times though?
ponytail in.
How many times do you have makeup on and everything, and people go, "Oh my God, Jennifer"? That's the exact look they get because they do, oh my God. They look at her and they're like, oh my God. Or we take a picture like on a holiday or Christmas and she has her hair done and the makeup on and like, oh my God, I've never seen you like that.
But I do that during school. I do that every day.
Yeah, that worries me even more that you do it for somebody else.
I do that Monday through Friday when I'm working. That's how I leave the house.
You are as beautiful now.
If I go out somewhere, I do that. But to sit around the house all day.
You are as beautiful now as you were.
I sat on the couch all day today and watched Big Brother Canada. Am I supposed to put makeup on?
You are as beautiful now as you were when I met you in 1988.
Now you're trying to suck up for something.
No, you are as beautiful now as you were.
You're sucking up to me now.
In 1988 when I met you.
Trying to suck up to me.
I don't ask for much.
Just need to wear my contacts 2 days a week.
All I want to do is I want to be loved.
You want to be loved?
All I ever tell you is I just want to be loved.
So how do contacts deal with you being loved?
I'm just saying, I just want to be loved.
You're loved.
She tells me, the big thing is, can you love me a little less today?
Sometimes he's a little bit much.
All right, that's going to do it for another edition of Koffee and Kramer. We will be back next week. We'll do it again. And Decades of Joey Kramer this Saturday night. Do not miss it. We take over the 9 o'clock hour and do a top 9 at 9 back in time.
We do.
Which I'm sure I got to do that too. I have so much stuff to do.
You have a lot of stuff to do. Glad I'm not you today.
Good God. All right, that's going to do it. I'm Joey Kramer.
And I'm Jennifer Coffee.
And this is
Koffee and Kramer.